Now, a couple of years ago, I put this cage in. It was a cage kit that I never finished because I didn't like the way it fit. And now I'm putting in a nice roll cage. So this is the cage kit that's going in. This is from Moore Race Chassis. It's chromoly. It's an 850 cert cage. It's got a few extra things to it. It's got the rocker bars, which I don't think are required for an 850. They might be, but I don't think so. And it's also got the under dash bar that is not required for 850, but it comes with that too. So if I can put that one in, we're going to put it in, but if it doesn't fit, we don't have to have that one. All right, so I've already got what's left of my bar cut out of the inside, and I've got to do some grinding, get this flush. I've got to finish welding some of my plates that I never finished welding before, and the front plates, I have not cut the front bars, what's left of those out yet, but the plates are going to end up farther forward, so I'm going to have to add plates to the front. I think these plates, I think I can still use for the main hoop and the other. I've just got to finish welding them all the way around. They're mostly welded in, but I never finished welding them because I was kind of giving up on that bar. And then it's also got seat saver bars that go over the rear seat and down through the package tray. So we're going to get all this cleaned up, and then we'll get the main hoop fitted, and we'll start getting the rest of the bars fitted. Okay, so I got my main hoop setting in here. Now, I've already kind of test fit it once, and it was really, really tight. It's not anywhere close to where it needs to be angle-wise. I've already cut an inch off of each side on the bottom, and this thing is still way up here. So they give you plenty of length for the main hoop to adjust to whatever floor situation you've got going on. This bar has plenty of length on the main hoop, so I can put it here, or I can cut it a bunch and put it up here. Just depends on where I want. I want it to kind of be in line with the B-pillar to hide it a little bit, but also what's going to dictate where I put the main hoop or where it ends up is the length of the bars going through the package tray and the length of the windshield bars going down through the dash, and how long the rocker bars are supposed to be. So I'm going to kind of get it, I'm going to trim it just a little bit more. I'm going to sneak up on it because I don't want it to end up too short, but I'm going to sneak up on the cut and get it. It's going to take a lot more work just to get it, because I don't want to just cut too much. I mean, I really, really don't want to do that and then have to fix something down here. So I'm going to sneak up on the measurement, get it in there where I want it, add a little bit of a lean back. I think the instructions say 6 degrees or something like that. So I'm going to get it kind of in there where I want it, and then start test fitting some other pieces. And then once I have an idea of where the main hoop is going to go, I can start cleaning all this up better and get everything ready to kind of tack in place. Okay, so it looks like I've got it just about where I want it. My angle at the bottom is pretty good, so that's flat. I've got an angle back with the B-pillar, so I think it's going to hide. I really want this to be a hidden roll bar, so I don't think it's designed to be that way. It's designed to fit tight, but I'm hoping I can put it in where it hides the roll bar really well, at least as well as I can anyway. I wanted to also make sure that I've got enough room to roll my windows down in the back. So I've got my spacing set on my window cranks back here to where they're about the same. I've got them lined up in the same spot on the roof structure, and I've got it where I want it on the bottom. Now, what I think I'm going to do is, since it's touching right here, and I'll probably have to shorten the 15 bar to do this, I'm going to pull the bottoms in with a strap, and I'm going to build me a box to set here and stand out some so that I can mount the main hoop farther in just a little bit. Because if I pull it in with a strap right now, it's going to come over the edge of the rocker right here. So I've got my old floor plate cut off on this side and most of it cut off on that side, but I'm not going to be able to use them. So I'm probably not going to be able to use these, but that's okay. So I'm going to build me some boxes real quick to get set under this and see how the main hoop fits then. And let's see how it's going to look from the outside. All right, so far the main hoop is hiding really, really well. You can see it some down here at the bottom, but it's hiding really well the rest of the way. So I'm pretty happy with that. Pretty happy with that. And it's really, really close to the top, which I like also. And if I build these boxes, they'll probably sit up a little bit. So that'll add, minimal, probably 1/8 of an inch to either side. But so far it's working great. All right, so I ended up making these little boxes right here that fit right over the rocker and onto the floor, and I can weld them all the way around. I've got my sides gusseted. and I've got my 6x6 plate. Now I'm going to pull the sides in. Can't see this one good because of the light, but I've got this one over here. I've got these as far back as I can get them, and like I said, I should be fine building off of those. I'm going to get this bar pulled in some with a strap, and it's wedged in here right now, so that's what's keeping it standing up. But I'm going to zip tie the top or something to keep it from crashing over, because it is laid back just a little bit in line with my B-pillar, which I really like. So I'm going to get this thing pulled in just a little bit, and then we'll start seeing how everything else fits. All right, so I've got the bar tacked in a little bit, not a bunch, but I've got it tacked in, and it's at the right angle. It's still hiding behind the B-pillar like I want it. So pretty happy with that. Now I've got to get the, I think I'm gonna try the rear bars first and get those in here, and then I can try the front windshield bar. All right, so here's where we are. I got my 2 back bars fitted in. They do not go up as high above the window as I would like, but they were designed to save the seat, not be hidden. So still not gonna be too big of a deal because they're pretty close to being hidden, and I may tint these back quarter windows. So I'm pretty happy with that. That's looking good. Now I'll show you in a minute where they connect in the trunk. They're a little bit behind where my old bars did, but yeah, I think the main hoop's going to work great where it's at. My front bars hide pretty good. They go down and just light a little bit. So I made me some new floor plates that match the contour of the floor, like this. Now these bars on the front have got to both be trimmed up to get the right angle, so that they'll set in the on the floor plate the correct way. And I've got to come over some. Now I did have to cut my dash a pretty good bit. That's one thing about this kit I didn't mention. It is designed to go through the dash, not in front of the dash, which I prefer, and it looks better. Now it's a little bit more work because you got to cut through your dash, and then you have to cut the dash pad around it. And then also, I'm pretty sure that side, I'll show you in a second, is going to be in the way of my headlight switch in my stock instrument cluster. But I may be switching to an aftermarket instrument cluster with a Holley Pro dash. I'm not sure, but either way, I could relocate the headlight switch if I have to. But I'm pretty happy with how this thing fits in here. It's pretty hidden, and I'm really happy with that. Let's close the doors and look at it from the outside. All right, now you can see that this thing is really well hidden in the car. I mean, from the side, unless you're looking at the other side, you really can't see the roll bar. It's up above the door on both sides. It hides really well. Even the back bars, they're not as bad as I thought they would be, just because, like I said, they're designed to go over the seat and save the rear seat where you don't have to go through the seat. But they're not really designed to make it hidden, but it's working really well. And the front A-pillar bars, they hide behind it. That's really cool. You can see right there. Of course, I got a big mess going, but you can see kind of the front. It'll be obvious it's got a cage in it from the front, but you know, the cage will end up painted black. But from the side, it is very well hidden. And in the back, they end up, I'm not sure how well you're gonna be able to see this, they end up a little bit in front of where my, a little bit in front, or behind where my old bar is hooked up. So, now welding these bars on top, that's gonna be pretty tough. You can see I've got zip ties holding everything in place because I'm doing all this by myself. It's kind of tough. But I'm not great at TIG welding anyway, so this is going to be quite the challenge. Now, normally you could, and I've got, these plates aren't welded in yet, so if I need to, I can cut these tacks, not put my bar right here across yet, and I could probably pull it in some and drop it down, get it inside the floor, move these out of the way, and drop it down and weld the top if it'll drop down that far. But because of the back bars going down, they're already touching in the trunk, I'm not sure. Now, I do have holes drilled underneath these plates, and these plates are not welded in yet. So I should be able to at least drop the front down, and once I get my windshield bar in across the top, I should be able to get that and hopefully weld that part in, dropping it down. But I'm not sure how much it's going to drop down without the whole thing dropping down. All right, I've been working on this roll cage. I've got some bars tacked in, main hoop obviously. I've got my roof bars they're in, fitted really good and tacked. And then I've got my upper windshield bar. It's going across. It's tacked in place. Not sure I'm going to put the dash bar in with the stock column and stock dash cluster and stuff like that. It's not required for an 850 cert, so I've got it fitted and it'll fit great, but I'm not sure I'm going to put it in just because I'm running a bunch of stock stuff. And if I was running an aftermarket column and dash and all that stuff, maybe it'd be a little bit easier, but probably not going to put that in. The rocker bars that run across from there, I've got those fitted and they fit really good, but I've got a big old comfortable Pro Car seat and it's wide and it hits the rocker bar on that side, and I'm not sure I'm going to be able to put the rocker bars in and keep those seats. If I can move the seat over towards the tunnel some, I might put them in, and it'd make mounting my harness on that side a lot easier. But right now I'm not sure what I'm going to do as far as the rocker bars. Since I've got stock floors and rockers, I don't have to have those for the 850 cert, but they do come with this kit. Now what I've got to work on is my rear bars that go down through the package tray over the seat. Now I've already got my plates cleaned up in the trunk that my old bars attached to, and hopefully they'll end up on those. I think I can trim them just enough to get them to set on the original plates so I don't have to weld new ones in. But if I do, it'll be okay. Going to get those fitted, see how they go, and get them tacked in. All right, I was able to get my driver's side bar fitted in, and it fits really good up there. It goes over the seat, goes down through the back, and I'll show you where it connects in the back. I was able to keep it on the original plate, so that worked out pretty good. Now I have a big magnet sitting here holding it because it wants to slide, but it ended up fitted right there. My other bar was up here, so that's a little bit farther back, but it's not a big deal. So pretty happy with how that fits. I really would like it to go over the seat a little higher over the seat, just because it'd be hidden more in the quarter window, but it's not bad. And honestly, this thing wasn't designed to be hidden. It was designed to not go through the seat, which I still like because I don't want to have to take the seat out, and I don't want to cut holes in the seat or none of that stuff. So really happy with this. It fits really, really close. I had to clean the notch up a little bit, but not much at all. So pretty happy with that. Going to get the passenger side fitted now. All right. I got the passenger side bar in. It fits really good too. Nice and tight joint up there. I had to clean it up a little bit. I do have a problem in the trunk though. So while my driver's side ended up on my old plate, my passenger side ended up just off of the plate. Now, this plate's farther back a little bit towards the trunk or towards the taillights than this side is. But so what I did was I got as close as I could, and then I bent me a plate. It's going to go there, and I'll just weld it onto. The rules say that you have to have a 6x6 1/8" steel plate. That's a 6x6 plate, and then that one's 2x6. So once I weld the seam in the middle completely, it'll still be within rules as far as I can tell. Pretty happy with how they fit, and it fits. The joint is really tight. So if I blinded you, I'm sorry, but yeah, the joints fit up real tight right there, and it'll still hide really good. So like I said, you can tell it's there in the back window, but the rest of it's hidden really good. And it's not that obvious. Once I get the quarter windows rolled up, it won't be that obvious at all. And it's, you know, like I said, it's still a little bit obvious from the front because you can see the bars, but I'm really, really happy with it. Okay, so from here, my plan, I've got to get these two bars tacked in now that I've got them run and fitted. And once I get those tacked in, I can go and get everything else, get as much as I can welded on the bottom. And then I need to cut my plates loose from the bottom of the, where they're tacked into my boxes on the main hoop. And on the front, my plates are just sitting under there. And I got to drop the whole thing down into the holes in the floor. Now, the hoop doesn't have holes under it. I'm going to try to squeeze it in with a strap and get it to drop down inside the rockers, which should give me 1.5 or 2 inches clearance more than I have now. And hopefully I could weld the top of it better than I could without doing that. And then hopefully the front bar, I can get it down enough to weld that. So should be okay. The actual back bars, they're not that bad just because they angle down a little bit. So they're not as bad as the roof bars are going onto the main hoop. But if I can get all that done, get it dropped down, then I can get it pushed back up, get my boxes under it. I can get my harness bar in across the main hoop, which really I should have had that in already, but trying to squeeze this hoop back and forth, that's why it's not in. And I hope I haven't messed up not having it in yet, but we'll make something work. All right, so I got my plate welded in. It doesn't look great, but I'm going to clean it up. And I mean, the welds probably look better than the old plate, but that's okay. I'm going to clean the seam up in the middle where my down bar is going to go, and then I'll get both of those tacked in. I also went ahead and got my crossbar fitted, my harness bar. I went ahead and got it fitted. It's a little loose right here because the door bar actually meets up right there, so there's a gap for that. I've got the other door bar kind of setting in there, and it's at the wrong angle right now, but I've just got it sitting in there. I did get my rocker bar in. I was able to move my seat over enough. It's not mounted, but I've got the seat moved over towards the tunnel to where I think it's going to sit in there just fine. You can see the rocker bar is in place, and I've got room for my adjustment on my seat. Now, the seat's moved in probably 1.5 inches, so it's not far. I had to move it, and I sat in it, and I'm still pretty comfortable at the with the steering wheel the way everything sits. So it's not like I'm way offset to the tunnel or anything. I mean, 1.5 inches over that way is not that bad. I do have to get this. This is just set in here. I've got to get that re-notched on this end. This end looks like it's going to be okay. I think I'm going to leave the rocker bars in, and then get this re-notched. The harness bar has to be within 4 inches, or your seat belts have to mount within 4 inches of your shoulders. I think the harness bar has to be within 4 inches of your shoulders for the harness to be mounted correctly. So I've got that. I sat in there and made sure I was within that spec, and that's good. I may bring it up just a little bit. It's in there really tight right now. I may bring it up some just to get it a little closer, but that's not going to be too hard to do. Okay, so I've got everything tacked in pretty good except for my harness bar, which I'm going to wait to do that until I drop everything down, which is what I've got to do now. I've got everything kind of tacked in. Some of my welding is not great. I'll be honest with you. It's not looking great, but I'll be able to clean it up some. It's not bad. It's not pretty. I've got to cut my tack welds at the bottom of the main hoop and at the front on the plates in the front, and then I can get the plates pulled out, the little boxes pulled out. I've got holes under the front plates, and I'm going to try to pull the back. I'm going to try to squeeze the main hoop in a little bit, so it'll drop between, it's only got to pull in about 1.5 inches, so that shouldn't be too bad. And then it'll drop down to the lower section of the floor and off of the rocker panel. And then hopefully I can weld the tops a little easier. I'm not sure how much it's going to help, but hopefully it does. Okay, so this worked out pretty good. I don't have my tacks cut on the main hoop yet, but I've got my tacks cut in the front. I've got my plates pulled out. My holes are exposed. The cage is down in the holes, and let's see how much this thing's going to move. Oh yeah, it moved down a couple of inches. I've got a lot more room up here to weld now. So now I'm just going to try to get the main hoop pulled in and drop down as much as I can. All right, so I've got my harness bar out. Used a strap to pull these two in, and they dropped down. It dropped down about 1.5 inches, so I can get my whole hand in here now. So that ought to be a lot better. I've got about 2 inches over here on the windshield bar, so this ought to be a whole lot easier to weld up now on the top. Get that done, and then we can get it set back up in there, get the harness bar in, and then get the boxes and the plates welded back in. So it's working out pretty good so far. So once I got the cage dropped down, I realized I was not going to be able to weld this bar in without taking the windshield out. So I took the windshield out and I broke it. So now it's a wall hanger. But I've got room to weld now. It helped me a little bit on the back, like I said, but it helped me a ton here. And my cage fits nice and tight right there. So. And I can stand up. I'm not crunched up in the car trying to operate the pedal and the torch and all that stuff. So maybe those welds will look a lot better than my other ones do. But I think they'll all be fine. I also need to patch up my dash where I cut through for the bars, but we'll get to that. right, so I finally got all my welding done on top of the bars. So my windshield bar here is welded in. All my main hoop stuff at the top is welded in the best I can get it. The welds don't look great, but they're probably not going to get me killed. I went ahead and sprayed some black paint on this, since when I push this up, I'm not going to be able to get to the top side of it because it's right against the roof. I'm going to try to put some black paint on the top of the main hoop, but I'm not sure how I'll be able to get to it because it's even closer than the other one was. I'm not sure if you could see it, but it's way closer. So we're going to see, and then we'll get everything pulled back up, and I can get my harness bar and my door bars in. All right, so most of my paint is dry. I painted the top of the main hoop. I painted the windshield bars, stuff like that, stuff that I can't get to once this is raised back up. So I'm gonna try to get it back up out of the holes in the front and slide the plates under it. Not sure how easy that's gonna be. But we'll see, let's see. That goes like that. In. This one. Ouch. All right, now that one's in. Cool, it's back up where it needs to be. Now I can take the strap loose on the main hoop and then get the main hoop back up where it needs to be. I guess I need to come. I think I'm up far enough. All right. Cool, now I gotta get my boxes put back under those. All right, let's see how that looks. I got my harness bar in across the main hoop, and it is tacked in. I put my seat in. I didn't video it, but I put my seat in and made sure that this was the right height to be where it wasn't too far below my shoulders, because you've got to be within 4 inches of the top of your shoulders for the seatbelt to mount to this. Now, if it is below it, you could always put a tab on it and mount the seatbelt a little higher, but I like the wraparound style harness that goes around the actual harness bar. Now what I have to do is I have to get my door bars fitted. Now this thing is the same, it's parallel to that. I checked it with my digital protractor where it's parallel to the top. So that's right. It's got these cutouts right here for the door bar to go into. Now what I did do is I took my door bars over to my buddy's shop and I bent them in just a little bit to clear the armrest on the door panel. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so I've got my door bar in. Now I bent these door bars just a little bit to clear the armrest. Now it probably would have shut before, it was barely touching it, but it was going to match the armrest in, and since these panels are plastic, I decided I didn't want to bust the panel trying to force the door to shut on it. So I bent them in just a little bit, and now it clears really good. So I've got this end propped up with wood, and I've got this end sitting pretty much level with my harness bar, and I've got it notched a little bit. I don't know if you can see. I've got this bar notched a little bit on the side. That bar is already like that because I trimmed up this end of the bar just a little bit. So the factory notch that was in this kit when I got it is still on that side, but it's not on this side. So I had to cut a little notch in there for this to go in. Now I still need to get this to fit a little closer, or a lot closer. That side's pretty good. This got to get a little closer. So I may end up bringing this side up just a hair to get this to fit better. That side is in there, but it's fitting pretty low at the bottom. That bar is longer than this one at the moment. But once I clean this end up to get it to fit, this bar will be at the same height as this bar. But what I need to do first is get this one and that one out of the way. I need to clean the car out, and I need to go ahead and get my cage either mostly welded or completely welded to the plates, because it's going to be more difficult to weld around this bar with this one in the way than it is going to be after. So I need to get these two bars out of the way, get the cage sat down where it's going to be, make sure everything's straight and level, and I need to get it welded into the car. And then once I get that done, I can put my door bars in, make sure they fit, and then once I get them fitted, then I can start welding them, fully weld my harness bar, and we're done. All right, so all 4 of these posts and their plates are tacked in. My little box that I made there is tacked in. The main hoop is partially welded. Same thing on the front, both sides, and on this side. I've got both my door bars fitted. This one fits pretty good. The gaps line up. There's a little bit of a gap on the bottom side of this one, and I'm gonna have to remove this interior panel to weld on it, which part of the reason I installed this bar the way I did was so that I could get these interior panels off. The bar fits really, really nice and really tight without having to trim it or anything other than for height. But I wanted to be able to remove my interior panels in the future, so I pulled the bar in just a little bit, and I had to shorten the harness bar a tad to do that. But both my door bars fit. Both of them are the same length. Both of them are the same height off the front bar on the floor, and both of them are just sitting, the top of them are just sitting about 1/8 of an inch below the top of the harness bar. So the fit is really, really good. I'm happy with that. But now what I've got to do is, now I've got both door bars completely fit, and my gaps and stuff, my fitment's not going to get any better. I need to go ahead and take them back out because they're just sitting there. I've got them blocked up with wood, obviously. And then I've got to weld all the way around my plates and my bottom of my front post. And the rear doesn't matter, but the front I've got to get welded because I can't weld those as easily with the door bars in place. Then once I get those completely welded, I can come back and put my door bars in, weld them in, and then I can weld my down bars in the trunk, put my 2 braces in that go from right here to the center of the tunnel, which I got to clean that up a little bit, and I'm done. So I've got it tacked in right now. I'm gonna have to weld the rest of the way around, and then once I get that done, I'm gonna MIG my plate to the floor because I'm so much better at MIG than I am TIG, which is not great, but still better. Okay, so I got my boxes welded to the floor. My front plates are welded to the floor. Now all I got to do, I've got my crossbars, my support bars. I've got them fitted. They're just sitting there. They're not tacked. And I've got to weld my main hoop completely to the boxes. Now, the front down bars are completely welded to the plates. So that's done, but I've got to do the main hoop. And once I get those done, I'm going to go ahead and weld in my main hoop support bars. And because I can really, putting the door bars in is going to limit access to the car, or not limit it, but make it more difficult to get in and out. So I'm going to do those last. And once I get the support bars in, I can get the door bars in, weld all that. I'm going to have to pull this door panel out, or rear interior panel out, so I don't melt it when I weld right here. It's going to be a tight fit, but I think I can get it done. Okay, so I got my main hoop welded in completely on both sides, and then I put my seatbelt bracket right there. I've got it welded in to the box and to the main hoop. So I've got a little, I'm gonna put a little bit of weld on the other side, and then I've got to put the bracket over here. Now, as soon as I get my passenger side seatbelt bracket mounted in, welded in, I'm gonna put the support bars in for the main hoop, and then I'm gonna go from there to the door bars, and then after the door bars are in, completely welded, I can move to the trunk, weld those in, and I'm done. All right, so I got my other seatbelt bracket welded in on this side. I got my 2 support bars in, and they're fully welded. I started welding on the driver's side door bar, and then I had a bad nosebleed, so there's blood all over the car. Blood filled up my mask. But it'll be all right. I'll be fine. A little nosebleed, no big deal. Now, I got the driver's door bar tacked in at the bottom, half welded at the top. I'm letting it cool down a little bit and making sure my nose has stopped bleeding. Then I'm gonna jump over here and get this side tacked in. And then once I get this tacked in and welded just a little bit, I'll bounce back and forth. I'm trying not to just weld and cook the pipe over there. So I'm, you know, I'm not great at TIG welding, so I'm trying to just be as careful as I can, which is taking me forever. But we're getting close. It's a complete mess, but it is now fully welded. So I'm pretty happy with it. There's a few spots I'm not real happy with my welds, but they're probably, they'll probably be fine. And let's hope I don't ever need them. But anyway, time to move to the trunk, weld the 2 down bars in. I did have to pull the back of the back seat out just to get the panel out on this side. But I'm gonna put all that back in, get that straightened up. But first I'm gonna weld the 2 down bars in the back of the trunk, and then we can start cleaning everything up, getting the gauges back in. I still have to notch the dash pad around the tubes right here, and then we can put the interior back in and the windshield, obviously. So it's finally completely welded in. Now this one ended up on the very edge of my plate, but that's not a big deal. That one I added plate to the other one. It would have ended up a little farther back, but the original plates were not exactly opposite each other. This one was farther back towards the rear. That was farther front, obviously. And you can still see on that one where my old bar used to be, and I ground that one completely flat. But anyway, all right, so this thing is completely welded in. And now what I have to do is I've got my dash sitting in there. I've got one side notched already. It's not notched enough, but I'm just really happy the roll cage is done. Now I can get the dash notched, get it in, clean my dash panel up a bunch, probably paint it, and then I'll get the pad fitted, then I'll paint the dash. And then when I get that done, I'm gonna put the windshield in. So a few hours later, the interior is back together. It's quite a bit of work, not gonna lie. Now I still have to put my shoulder harnesses back on, but the rest of the seat belts are bolted to the floor. My wife's seat is still not bolted down, but she's tough, so that'll be fine. I got all the back seat in. My rear quarter panel, interior panels, sail panels are in. My headliner strip on the windshield is in. I don't have the front one in because the bar's in the way. I've got to figure out how to mount visors. But yeah, everything's in. Kick panels are in. Now the carpet is the same carpet I had on the last cage, but it fits pretty good. I know you can't see great because it's dark in here, but yeah, got the gauges mounted, got my tack mounted. I've got to put my cover on my shifter, but pretty much this thing's ready to go. And when I say ready to go, I mean interior wise. The rest of the cars, I have a few things to do to get ready for race week, and we're leaving in a few hours. So got a lot to do. I've got to change transmission fluid. I got to change oil. I've got to do a nut and bolt check, brake check, stuff like that. Check the fluid in the rear end, and just general overall check. And then this thing hasn't been ran in a few months, cranked up, I mean, because the interior shifter, all that stuff's been out of it. So I got to do that and then hopefully get it on the trailer, but it's raining, so that's going to be a trick too. I am super happy with how this cage turned out. It hides really well. Now, it's not designed to be a hidden roll cage, but I like it that way. And the main hoop hides behind the B-pillar bars good. The front bars go right behind the A-pillars. I mean, you can tell that they're there when you look in the front, obviously, but they do blend in pretty good, especially when there's a reflection, so it's not a dead giveaway. From the side, you can tell that it's got a roll bar in it, but really, it does not stick out. It fits in pretty good. It blends in really well, and unless you walk up to it, you really can't tell that it's got a full cage in it. I could have done a little bit more to make it more hidden. The down bars in the back, I could have rebent those, but they worked great as is. All right, guys, so if you need a roll cage, go to More Race Chassis. MoreRaceChassis.com is their website. They've got a Facebook page. They also have a YouTube channel. This cage fit great, and it made it way easier to install, especially for me since I'm a novice at all this kind of cage stuff. I really had to do minimal trimming other than a little bit I modified to make it fit. So if you need one, whether it's an 850 cage or a 25-3 cage, they'll hook you up. They sell kits. They can install the cages, whatever you need. Tell them Shop 209 sent you. We'll see you next video.